Alright, one quick concept I want to do from section 3.8 is be able to find an inverse matrix. It's kind of like, what's the inverse of 2/3? What's the inverse of that? 3/2. That's the multiplicative inverse. This is kind of the same idea. Here's a number, or here's a matrix, right? I want you to find the inverse of this matrix. I'm going to show you how to find the inverse of any 2x2 matrix, okay? So pay attention to this. If it's A, B, C, D, or if there's all numbers in here, here's the formula to do that. So we'll call this matrix right here, we'll call it A, okay? Matrix A. Alright. Now, what if you want to find this? You guys know what this means? A to the -1 power. That -1 means the inverse. So what does this mean? The inverse of A. Alright? The inverse of A is equal to 1 divided by AD minus BC. You know what that is? AD minus BC. That's the determinant of this matrix right here. Basically 1 over the determinant of A. Alright? Times it by a new matrix. So that's a scalar, 1 over some number, times what you do here is you switch A and D. So whatever these two numbers are, you switch them. So this becomes D up here, and this becomes A down here. And these two, you don't switch them, but you make them opposites. So we make this one opposite of B, whatever that is, and then we make this one the opposite of C, whatever that is. Okay? So, making sure this is not 0. What if AD minus BC was 0? Then you couldn't find the inverse. Okay? So that's a little side note. Can't find the inverse of something if the determinant is 0 right here. Okay? Let's apply this right here to a problem. Ready? So get that in your minds. Write that down right now. Here we go. New problem. So find the inverse of, I'll give you 4 numbers here, 3, 8, 2, 5, so 3, 8, 2, 5. Okay, we'll call this A. Is this? You want to find the inverse of A. Well, you just have to memorize the formula. 1 divided by the determinant, so AD minus BC, over, or times, by this matrix. You switch D and A, and then you make these opposite. Opposite of B, opposite of C. Let's plug them in and see what happens. Alright? So A inverse is equal to 1 divided by, what's AD? So this and this, 3 and 5. So that's 15 minus BC, needs 2. So that's 16. 15 minus 16. Times it by this matrix right here. Remember we switched A and D. So here's A, here's B, C, and D. So switch A and D. So 5 goes here, 3 goes here. And you don't switch these, but you just make them opposite. So that's 8, so that's -8. That's 2, so that's -2. And there we go. But we have to do one more thing. We have to make it look good. Take this times this. Now this is nice because that's really 1 divided by -1, which is -1. Right? 15 minus 16 is -1. So really you have -1 times this right here, which is -5, +8, +2, and -3. Everybody see what I did here? This is A inverse. Okay? So remember this, just find out what that number is, which was -1, times it by all this, and it becomes this. You just found the inverse of a 2x2 matrix. Please remember that, memorize that. Okay?